Introduction. Let me ask you something. If you changed just one tiny thing about your daily routine, something so small it almost felt pointless, and you repeated it every single day for a year, what would happen? At first, you'd probably see nothing. No big win. No dramatic transformation. But then, somewhere down the line, everything would start to shift. The small choice would have multiplied itself so many times that it became the foundation for a new life. That's the heart of atomic habits. Change doesn't demand giant leaps. It demands small, smart steps repeated consistently. This isn't a book about forcing yourself into radical transformation overnight. It's a book about becoming the kind of person for whom transformation happens naturally. Your habits are the roots of your results. And if you grow the right roots, the right fruits will follow. Chapter 1. The surprising power of atomic habits. We love the idea of big wins, the promotion that changes your career, the before and after transformation photo, the viral success story. But those moments are just the visible tip of a much larger iceberg. The truth is, the big moments are almost always the result of small, consistent actions repeated over time. This is where compounding comes in. Just as compound interest turns modest savings into wealth, tiny daily improvements multiply into life-changing results. Improving by just 1% each day seems trivial, but over the course of a year, the effects are extraordinary. The challenge is the plateau of latent potential. This is that frustrating period when you're putting in the effort, going to the gym, studying, building your side project, but can't see much change. It's like heating ice from -1 degree Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius. All the heat matters, but you don't see anything until it melts. Most people give up in that invisible stage right before the breakthrough. Lesson. Small improvements may not show results immediately, but they build the foundation for remarkable change. Consistency matters more than intensity in the long run. Chapter 2. How your habits shape your identity, and vice versa. Most people try to change by focusing on the outcome. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to run a marathon. I want to save more money. But the real driver of lasting change is identity. If you change who you believe you are, your actions naturally follow. Consider two people trying to quit smoking. One says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." The other says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." The first is still tied to the old identity and fighting against it. The second has already embraced the new identity. Every action you take is like casting a vote for the person you want to become. You don't need to be perfect. You just need enough votes to shift your self-image. Over time, those repeated actions shape who you believe you are. Lesson. True behavior change is identity change. Focus on becoming the type of person who naturally does the things you want to do, and the results will follow. Chapter 3. How to build better habits in 4 simple steps. All habits, good or bad, follow the same structure. Cue: craving, response, reward. The cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. The craving is the desire it sparks. The response is the action you take. The reward is what satisfies you and teaches your brain to repeat it next time. When you understand this loop, you unlock the ability to design better habits and dismantle the ones holding you back. The 4 laws of behavior change are built on this framework. Make it obvious. Design clear cues for good habits. Make it attractive. Find ways to pair them with things you enjoy. Make it easy, reduce friction so doing it takes little effort. Make it satisfying. Give yourself a quick win or positive reinforcement. Break a bad habit by reversing these laws. Make it invisible, unattractive, hard, and unsatisfying. Once you see this loop, you can design habits deliberately. 4 good habits. Make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the response easy, and the reward satisfying. 4 bad habits, do the opposite. Make the cue invisible, the craving unattractive, the response hard, and the reward unsatisfying. This framework, known as the 4 laws of behavior change, is the foundation for transforming any habit. Lesson. Habits aren't random, they're built from predictable loops. By changing the cues, cravings, responses, or rewards, you can reshape your behaviors to work for you instead of against you. Chapter 4. The man who didn't look right. One night in an intensive care unit, A nurse noticed something unsettling. A patient's skin had a faint change in tone, nothing dramatic, nothing that would trigger alarms. But she knew something wasn't right. Acting quickly, she called for help. Moments later, the patient crashed, and the early intervention saved his life. She couldn't fully explain how she knew. It was years of experience, thousands of small observations, and countless moments of pattern recognition. This is what habits do. They allow you to respond without conscious thought, turning repeated experience into instinct. The danger is that bad habits work in the same way. Without realizing it, you may pour a soda the moment you sit down to watch TV or scroll through your phone before getting out of bed. These automatic actions feel invisible because they're so ingrained. That's why awareness is the first step in change. Clear recommends using a habit scorecard, listing your daily habits exactly as they happen, without judgment, and marking them as positive, negative, or neutral. Awareness transforms the invisible into something you can act on. Lesson: you can't change a habit you can't see. By making your behaviors visible, you regain the ability to choose them rather than letting them control you. Chapter 5. The best way to start a new habit. Many people fail to start new habits because they keep them vague. I'll exercise more, I'll eat healthier, I'll read more. The lack of clarity leaves too much room for delay and excuses. Instead, use implementation intentions. A simple but powerful formula. I will behavior at time and place. This gives your habit a home in your schedule, making it concrete and harder to avoid. Another effective method is habit stacking, linking a new habit to one you already do. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will floss, or after I pour my morning coffee, I will write for 5 minutes. By attaching the new habit to an established one, you're riding the momentum of your existing routines. This approach removes the need for constant willpower. You're no longer asking yourself, should I do this now? You've already decided when and where it will happen. Lesson: new habits stick when they are specific and anchored. Attach them to a clear time, place, or existing routine so they grow naturally without relying on motivation alone. Chapter 6. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. We tend to think motivation is the key to better habits, but motivation is unreliable. It rises and falls with your mood, your energy, and your circumstances. Your environment, however, quietly shapes your actions all day long. If you want to eat healthier, keep fruit visible on the counter and hide junk food in a cupboard. If you want to practice guitar more, place it in the middle of the room instead of leaving it in a case under your bed. If you want to drink more water, keep a full glass next to you at all times. Environment design works because it changes the cues you see. You're far more likely to act on habits when the cues are obvious and accessible, and less likely when the cues are hidden or inconvenient. Lesson: you don't need more motivation, you need fewer barriers. Shape your environment so good habits are the easiest choice and bad habits are out of sight and out of reach. Chapter 7. The secret to self-control. When we think of self-control, we imagine willpower, resisting temptation through sheer discipline. But studies show that people who seem to have high self-control are often just better at avoiding tempting situations in the first place. It's easier to avoid dessert if it's not in your house. It's easier to focus if you keep your phone in another room. You don't have to resist what you don't see. This is why the best strategy for self-control is not to be stronger than your temptations. It's to design your environment so you rarely have to face them. If a behavior doesn't start, you don't have to stop it. Lesson: the easiest way to master self-control is to remove the need for it. Eliminate temptations from your environment, and you won't have to waste energy resisting them. Chapter 8. How to make a habit irresistible. Think about the last time you couldn't wait to do something. Maybe it was going out for your favorite meal, maybe it was the moment before a holiday, maybe it was just that first sip of coffee in the morning. That pull you felt, that excitement, wasn't just about the thing itself. It was the anticipation. Your brain releases dopamine not just when you get a reward, but when you expect it. That's why the smell of popcorn makes you want the movie, why hearing the gym playlist might make you feel ready to move, and why you might already feel happy just walking toward your favorite coffee shop. Now here's the trick. You can attach that same anticipation to the habits you want to build. One powerful method is temptation bundling. Pair something you want to do with something you need to do. If you only watch your favorite show while running on the treadmill, or only listen to that juicy true crime podcast while cleaning, suddenly your brain is hooked not on the work, but on the reward it's tied to. Lesson: habits don't have to be forced, they can be designed to pull you in. Make them irresistible by linking them to pleasures you already love, and you'll find yourself chasing the habit instead of resisting it. Chapter 9. The role of family and friends in shaping your habits. Here's a truth most people underestimate. Your habits are not just your own. If your friends go for weekend hikes, you're more likely to own hiking boots. If your family eats dessert every night, you probably have a sweet tooth. Clear explains we imitate three main groups: the close, friends and family; the many, what's normal in your community; and the powerful, those we admire or respect. The habits in your social circle feel like just what people do, and that makes them incredibly sticky, for better or worse. If your immediate circle doesn't model the habits you want, don't panic. But do make sure you spend time in environments where your desired behaviors are the norm. Join a running club, work at a library if you want to study more. Follow creators who embody the lifestyle you want. The more you immerse yourself in that world, the more natural those habits will feel. Lesson: the people you spend the most time with quietly set your standard for normal. Surround yourself with those who live the way you want to live, and you'll naturally start doing the same. Chapter 10. How to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. Every bad habit has a secret job. It's solving some kind of problem for you, even if it's not doing it in a healthy way. You scroll endlessly because you're bored. You snack because you're stressed. You skip workouts because you're exhausted and craving comfort. If you try to kill a habit without replacing the job it's doing, the craving will just pop up somewhere else. That's why the key isn't just stopping the bad habit. It's replacing it with something that satisfies the same need in a better way. If you eat to deal with stress, maybe you take a short walk or do a breathing exercise. If you check your phone out of boredom, maybe you keep a book nearby instead. You're not removing the reward, you're upgrading it. Lesson: bad habits stick because they work, but only for a moment. Replace them with healthier actions that give you the same reward, and you break their grip without losing the comfort they were giving you. Chapter 11. Walk slowly but never backward. Perfection is a trap. The truth is, you're going to miss a day. You're going to have an off week. The real difference between those who succeed and those who quit: they don't let one slip turn into two. Clear's never miss twice rule is simple but powerful. If you skip your morning workout today, you must show up tomorrow. If you eat badly for lunch, make dinner healthy. Missing once is a mistake. Missing twice is the start of a new habit, the wrong kind. Progress is a long walk forward. You don't have to run, but you do have to keep moving. Lesson: don't punish yourself for slipping. Just correct it immediately. You don't need perfection, you need recovery speed. One miss changes nothing. 2 in a row changes everything. Chapter 12. The law of least effort. Humans are wired for efficiency. If something is easy, we do it. If it's hard, we avoid it. That's why streaming apps autoplay the next episode, why junk food is ready to eat, and why hitting snooze feels so natural. If you want to make a habit stick, reduce the steps between you and doing it. Lay out your gym clothes. Keep your guitar on a stand in the living room instead of in a case. Keep healthy snacks washed and ready to eat. 4 bad habits do the opposite. Increase friction. If you want to watch less TV, unplug it after each use. If you want to spend less online, delete your saved payment details. Small barriers are surprisingly powerful. Lesson: make the habits you want so easy to start they feel automatic, and make the ones you want to avoid so inconvenient they're not worth it. Your environment should do the heavy lifting, not your willpower. Chapter 13. How to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule. We've all been there. You know you should start. The gym bag is sitting by the door, the book is on your desk, the laundry basket is practically begging for mercy. But you just don't. You tell yourself you'll start in 5 minutes, then 20, then tomorrow. Procrastination isn't just about laziness. It's about the weight of starting. That's why the 2-minute rule feels like a cheat code. The rule says, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. At first, that sounds ridiculous. 2 minutes won't get you fit, or finish your novel, or change your life. But the goal here isn't to do the habit perfectly. It's to make starting so effortless that resistance disappears. Think about it. Most of the time, the hardest part of a task isn't the task itself, it's just getting started. You don't resist writing the entire essay. You resist opening the document. You don't resist exercising for an hour. You resist putting on the shoes and stepping outside. So here's how it works. Want to start running? Just put on your running shoes and stand outside. Want to start reading? Open the book and read 1 page. Want to start meditating? Sit down, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. 9 times out of 10, once you start, you'll naturally do more. But even if you don't, you've kept the habit alive, and that's the point. A short workout is infinitely better than none. A paragraph read is still more than a page sitting untouched. The 2-minute rule also helps you protect your identity. If your goal is to become a reader, every time you open a book, even for a page, you reinforce the identity of "I'm someone who reads." The habit becomes part of who you are, not something you occasionally do. Lesson: make the start so small that saying no feels absurd. 2 minutes might not change your life in one go, but it will change the kind of person you see yourself as, and that's what changes everything. Chapter 14. How to stick with good habits every day. Motivation fades, discipline wavers. But visible progress? That's addictive. That's why habit tracking works so well. It's not about the mark on the calendar, the check in the app, or the streak counter. It's about what those marks mean. They are proof. They are momentum you can see. Imagine this. Every time you complete a habit, you put a small stone in a jar. Over time, you can see your progress piling up. That jar becomes a visual reminder of your consistency, and a silent dare to keep going. The same works with a wall calendar. You put a big red X through each day you complete your habit. Pretty soon, you've got a chain of XS, and you'll do almost anything not to break it. Even if you're tired or busy, you'll still do a smaller version of the habit just to keep the streak alive. The beauty is, the habit doesn't have to be huge to count. If your habit is read every day, and you only read 2 paragraphs before bed, you still win that day. If your habit is exercise, and you only do 5 push-ups, the streak stays alive. Tracking isn't just about accountability. It's about identity reinforcement. Every checkmark says, I am the kind of person who does this every day. Lesson: track your habits so your progress is visible. The more you see your wins pile up, the harder it becomes to stop. Motivation may start you, but visible momentum will keep you going. Chapter 15. The truth about results that last. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Goals are exciting, but they're also temporary. You can run a marathon, hit a sales target, or lose 20 pounds. And then what? If your life hasn't been built on systems that sustain that success, you'll drift right back to where you started. Think about it. If your goal is to run a marathon, the finish line is the goal. But once you cross it, there's no reason to keep training unless you've fallen in love with running itself. If your goal is to get fit for a wedding, what happens the day after? If your goal is to hit a certain income, will you stop working once you hit it? That's why systems are more important than goals. A goal is about winning once. A system is about winning again and again without having to think about it. Systems are built from habits. Small, repeatable actions that produce results over and over. When you build your life around systems, success stops being a lucky streak or a one-time event. It becomes inevitable. You become the kind of person who succeeds by default. The final shift is identity. You don't just want the result. You want to become the kind of person who naturally produces that result. Not I want to run a marathon, but I'm a runner. Not I want to write a book, but I'm a writer. When your habits and systems match your desired identity, you don't have to fight for motivation. The actions feel natural. Lesson: goals give you direction. Systems keep you there. Build habits that support your identity and success will follow you, not the other way around. Final advice. The most powerful truth in all of this is that you are never stuck. You are simply living out the habits you've built so far, and you can build new ones. Change doesn't have to be dramatic or overwhelming. It can be as small as a single glass of water, a single push-up, a single page read. The problem is, most people underestimate the impact of small changes and overestimate the power of motivation. But motivation is unreliable. Habits are faithful. They show up for you whether you feel like it or not, as long as you've put them in place. If you take one thing from this book, let it be this. You are the architect of your daily actions, and your daily actions are the blueprint of your future. So start today. Start tiny, but start in the direction you want to go. Because small habits don't just add up, they multiply. And the sooner you begin, the sooner you'll wake up one day and realize you've become the person you always wanted to be, without even noticing when it happened.